Hello, scholars and alumni, and welcome back to our final session of this year's Summer Career Series. We're very excited for you to be attending today. We have a wonderful guest speaker. My name is Nicole Wesley, Senior Program Manager of Career Supports at TheDream.Us. For today's session, our guest speaker, who I'll be introducing very shortly and is a recent TheDream.Us graduate, we'll be discussing tips for landing paid micro-internships on Parker Dewey. For those that are unfamiliar with Parker Dewey, you're going to learn a lot today, but as a short snippet, Parker Dewey is a platform that lists short-term paid micro-internships and projects that are structured as independent contracting gigs. So that means our scholars are eligible to apply for these opportunities so long as you have a social security number or an ITIN. Next slide. Before we start, I do want to run through a few housekeeping items. First, introduce yourself in the chat. We know that our scholars love connecting and meeting with other scholars across the country. So introducing yourself in the chat with where you're coming from, your name, the school you're attending, your major, and your LinkedIn URL, if you have one, is a simple way to connect with other scholars and alumni across the country. Connecting with others on LinkedIn is also a great way to explore and learn about career opportunities and resources. I also want to remind everyone to please mute yourself throughout the duration of this presentation. There will be a Q&A at the end, so if you have any questions related to today's topic, please type it in the Q&A feature, not the chat. So again, if you have any questions throughout the session, please type them in the Q&A section. And lastly, copies of the slide deck and today's recording will be posted on our YouTube channel within a week's time. Next slide. So why do we host a summer career series? We want to help inform you of your career options and what's possible as an undocumented student. Anyone, regardless of immigration status, can be an entrepreneur and pursue entrepreneurial careers, including independent contracting, freelancing, starting a business, and joining a worker cooperative. There's over 800,000 undocumented entrepreneurs in the US who are earning an income, providing for themselves and their families, and having a meaningful career. For more information on entrepreneurship, make sure to check out our career success page on our website. Next slide. I know I briefly mentioned ITINs. For those of you that are unfamiliar with ITINs, they are a powerful tool for those who are not eligible for a social security number. So if you do have a social security number, you don't need to worry about getting an ITIN. An ITIN is issued by the IRS for individuals to file and pay taxes. Beyond using an ITIN to file and pay taxes, an ITIN can also be used to open a bank account, apply for an EIN, participate in paid internships and fellowships that are inclusive to ITIN holders. That includes applying to micro-internships on Parker Dewey and pursuing entrepreneurial career opportunities. Please note that an ITIN does not provide legal status, nor does it provide work authorization. And for more information about ITINs, please check out our ITIN website. We have a plethora of great resources. Next slide. And as a reminder, for our final session today, please know that all information shared is for educational purposes only and should not be considered legal, business, or tax advice. Now I'm going to go ahead and introduce our amazing guest speaker, Briseda, who is the founder of Bretzels Media, an independent contractor for the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, a proud TheDream.Us alum and graduate of Grand Canyon University with a degree in marketing and advertising. Briseda secured several micro-internships on the Parker Dewey platform while a student. As her micro-internships came to a close, Briseda was successful in transitioning 2 of her micro-internships into extended independent contracting gigs through her LLC. So we're excited to have Briseda with us. Thank you so much for your time today, and I will pass it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nicole and TheDream.Us, for having me here and inviting me. This is quite literally, I am without words, and I'm super happy that I have the opportunity to share my experience and the knowledge that I've gained throughout my time with Parker Dewey and ways that I can help you guys. So today, well, let's get started with what our topic is going to be today. It's tips for landing a paid micro internship on Parker Dewey. Sometimes you think that internships, you just kind of apply to them, but what do you do to make sure that you actually get through to them? A little bit about myself. So I, as Nicole mentioned, am not a financial advisor. I am not, I cannot give legal advice, but I can give you my expertise that I've gained through the past 4 years of, my college and using Parker Dewey for, I think it's about 2 years now, since TheDream.Us rolled it out. A little bit about me. I am based in Phoenix, Arizona. I have my bachelor's in marketing and advertising. I actually saw in the chat that somebody was a biology major. I started off as a bio major, but that kind of went down the wrong way a little bit. But I found my passion, and that is marketing. I'm currently have my own marketing company, Bretzels Media, as you can see. I like pretzels, especially the Wetzel pretzels that you see at the mall. Those are my favorites. So I was like, pretzels, but with the B to make it Briseda. I am also, I've been able to secure 3 Parker Dewey internships, and out of those 3 internships, I actually was able to bring them onto a client. So I've been able to do, I don't know how I did it, but I'm going to share with you the things that got me there. And hopefully it gets you guys there as well. So please, as this is going on, we will have some Slidos in there. So if you guys can interact, take out your phones, they will be QR codes. Talk to me as much as I'm talking to you, because I want to hear about you guys as well. So we're going to get started with the first Slido. This should be open, but I want to know where you guys are from. Tell me where you guys are coming from. I saw somebody was GCU, loads up. Everybody else, I appreciate you very much. I love your schools, but the havocs are on top. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and see what we are sharing. Awesome. It should be open now, so if we can have you guys just answer me. Talk to me. Oh, we have 11 people typing. Oh, we have Mexico. Okay. Phoenix AZ. Illinois. Very nice. Miami, Florida. Wow. So you guys are Eastern, right? So it's 2 p.m. for me Mountain Time. Yes, I can definitely share the QR code again. Let's go ahead and share that QR code right here. Can you guys see that okay? And then I will switch back to the answers in a minute. Either or, whether you are from or where you are living at right now. I'm personally from Mexico. Soy mexicana, de Culiacán, del norte. I just want to know where you guys are watching from, because I know it must be late over on the east side. Colombia. Wow. In Queens, New York, Texas, Venezuela, Argentina, Oregon. That's very nice. I love the West Coast. It reminds me, whenever I think about Washington or Oregon, it reminds me of Twilight and Bella. You hear that. "Wah, wah, 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 wah." Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to close it out in another minute. I think we have one more person typing. That way we can get going. But thank you so much. Ah, you guys are all across the country. You guys are awesome. Zacatecas, Guadalajara, Jalisco. Okay, living in Georgia. Ooh, that's so nice. Wow. Thank you guys. I'm closing this Slido so that we can make sure that that I can answer as many questions as we can towards the end. Thank you for interacting with me. I appreciate it. And let's get started into the nitty gritty. So what exactly is Parker Dewey? It is basically just an online platform that has micro internships listed out for you. Like it quite literally, you go into it and I will share what that looks like. It offers paid professional projects and internships. So you can have, I've seen software engineering micro internships on their marketing. Those are all um, opportunities that are on there and many more I can imagine. They are structured and paid as independent contractors. And the thing about this though is that you must have a social security ITIN or an EIN. An EIN is what you get when you have your LLC. So that's your enterprise number. So let's go ahead. Sometimes, and I understand coming from myself, I am undocumented. I have my ITIN number, but if you do not have your ITIN number, how can you get that? Who can help you? Where is that information at? The Dream.Us is amazing in making sure that all of those resources are available to us. You can go to the www.thedreamus.us/ITIN in order to, see what it is, how can you get it, and it's important because you have at least a number that, is identified to you. The ITIN stands for the tax identification number, individual tax identification number, and it basically, allows you to work as an independent contractor. It is not work authorization, but it allowed me and opened the doors for me to become a contractor through Parker Dewey, as well as open my EIN, which is my LLC. Okay, this is really important. Do you guys have a Parker Dewey account? I want to see how in depth I need to go in terms of today. Are you guys familiar with it? How many of you guys have a Parker Dewey account? This should be open as well. You don't have a Parker Dewey. Why not? You need to take notes today because I am going to walk you through how to have that Parker Dewey account. Like I said, whatever you can do to have that professional development skills and really get in there and see what you really like. If I'm being honest with you guys, as these are coming through, I will share that as much as I love marketing, I wasn't exactly the best at it when I started. And I went through, it's the first time hearing about it. Oh no. Well, this is good. It's good that you're here. Thank you for joining us. What was really great about Parker Dewey is that it showed me my strengths as to where I was good at and where I was not good at because I was able to, be hands-on and get that experience. So I realized that I was not in marketing, you have two types of people. You have the statistics people and the creative people. I tend to be more on the statistic sides. Being creative is something that I like to reserve for myself. But it really helps you, dabble in things that you want to do. And it's also one of the reasons why I changed my major because I was like, actually, I realized that I'm good at this because of the experiences that I've been able to get through Parker Dewey. And this is why I feel confident moving on to a full-on major in marketing. Mhm. All right, we have 16 votes coming in. I will go ahead and close it as well. I see that the majority of you do not have a Parker Dewey account. So I'm glad that this is being recorded. We will go ahead and walk through the steps on how to do that and make sure that your profile is looking exquisite. So we can, yeah, so we can go ahead and get that. All right, my friends, Really awesome. This is the Career Connections landing site on the Dream.Us. That QR code will lead you exactly to the Dream.Us webpage about micro-internships. There's two little buttons right here. One says apply for micro-internships, other is post micro-internship. So when, let's say organizations are looking to get some interns, they will go ahead and click that button, but you, as a student, a Dream.Us alum, will go ahead and click apply for micro-internships, and it will take you to the following slide. So it's going to look something like this. When you are looking at your profile, you want to make sure that you have the basics. So a lot of the postings on Parker Dewey, I've realized, can be either remote or they're specific to your area, and it might even have a hybrid style. So you might have to go in person some hours of that micro internship, or you can do it online. I personally wanted to make sure that I was hands-on and that I was present. So I always wanted to make sure that it always was in the Phoenix metro area, which is where I reside in Arizona. You want to be specific. Are you receiving your bachelor's? What are you doing? What are you interested in? This is a little bit outdated. As you can see, I was interested in biology, being a physician assistant when I first started my Parker Dewey profile, and then I led into marketing just so that, because these are areas that I wanted to gain expertise and I wanted to see if I was really good at it or if I even liked being in those areas as much. Of course, when it says current address, your city, like I said, they can either be hybrid, they can be full on remote. It just helps to make sure that your internships are in a nice little niche, so that we can, hit as many micro internships as you can. And I will explain this a little bit more in depth in the next couple of slides. The Dream.Us affiliation. This is the most important thing that you have to do when you are creating your profile. You will not see the internships that are made specifically for you, for Dream.Us scholars, because, and I will show you what it looks like, but right here, when it says affiliation, you type in the Dream.Us and you have to make sure that you have it on your profile. I promise you, you won't regret it, because actually, we're going to skip ahead real quick, just so I can show you why it's important to have that. And we're going to come back to these, I promise. Awesome. On your dashboard, you will see that there is going to be your featured projects, and there's going to be something that looks like this, all open micro internships. The difference between featured and your all open micro internships is that these are open to every single, college student that is on Parker Dewey. These are made for you. These are affiliated with the Dream.Us. If you do not have that affiliation, you will not see them. And why would you want to miss out on an opportunity that gives you a little bit of advantage by having that affiliation at your profile? So let's go back. Sweet. Now that we're there, our next step will be our resume. Okay? You have to have at least a resume or a cover letter to stand out, because why would you want to, let's put ourselves in the shoes of the organizations. Why would I want to hire a student that I don't know anything about? I don't know what they're interested in. I don't know what their education is, what their qualification is. As personally coming from, a business owner, I don't know if I would want to choose a person that doesn't have either or. My advice for your resume to make sure it's nice and spiffy is you have to have, it has to be one page, no longer than one page, and make sure that you have the things that really matter and that are catered to the micro internships that you are applying to. For me, it was important, to make sure that, the organizations that I was applying to knew that I was fluent in Spanish, written and verbal, that they knew my education, where what I was active in my college years. So I was in ROTC, I was Alpha Company Commander, I was in the Academic Decathlon Club, to make sure that I actually have some sort of people skills other than what I am applying for. Moving on to your profile, I do see that a lot of profiles, when people are creating Parker Dewey, do not have a profile picture or a headshot. My personal experience is that the reason I got, actually, I was talking to one of my clients and one of the organizations that went ahead and took me as their intern, is that the reason why they picked me was because out of all the applicants, I was the only one that had a profile picture. As you can see, that is not the most professional headshot, okay? It's definitely different than what I had in my very first slide or that you will see on LinkedIn, but it's a picture that, I was wearing business casual clothes, and I just wanted to make sure that when these organizations that are looking for interns are seeing me, they know that this is who I am, this is a person, and it really helps create that connection. So this is a first step. When people look at you, they have a name to a face. Right here, my personal statement was very short and quick. Having it just tells a little bit of what you're looking for, and it tells organizations, hey, this is what this person is looking for, and do they fit in an intern that we want to contract and hire on. And then we can go ahead, like I said, it looks the same as we did last slide. Your location is important. Sometimes these micro internships are curated to where you live in proximity. Like I said, you can click whichever you are comfortable with. I do recommend hybrid or in person if you can. And there's a reason to that, I promise. So having a profile picture really does increase your chances to be selected as a contractor with them. Now, when we're applying to projects and internships, I did a quick overview, but this is something that is important, and I will go a little bit more in depth right now. When you see your featured projects, like I said, you have to have your affiliation on there. If not, then you won't even be able to see these. It will literally just look like this. You won't be able to see the opportunities that are open to you and accessible to you as a DreamUS scholar. When you are applying to these that say the TheDream.Us, these are curated. I'm going to sound like a broken machine, but I really want to emphasize that you need to have this affiliation on your profile. If you go through it, like I said, these are really awesome. I know somebody says that I remember somebody said they're from Queens and New York, so this is awesome because, the TheDream.Us is looking for somebody in Queens, New York. You also have the TheDream.Us in Nevada, TheDream.Us in Hunter College, New York, and the city of also New York. Wow. And these are all remote. Do you see it says remote, on-site, remote, remote. So if the TheDream.Us, let's say from Hunter College, and you're in that area, but you don't really want to go in person, you can do this remotely. Compared to Nevada State College, you have to be on site in order to be an intern with them. And again, these are extremely, I think you guys, the people that have been with Parker Dewey know how hard it is to be able to land these micro internships. It really takes a lot. So the reason why it's important to have your affiliation, again, a broken machine, is that it gives you a little bit of an advantage per se, because the TheDream.Us is looking for other TheDream.Us kids. When we are talking about just all open micro internships, you can also very much apply to these. The thing is that these are open to all college students, and they attract a lot of applicants. They really do. And having that profile picture on there and that resume really does boost you up, because whether you believe it or not a lot of people have that on their profile. Moving on, I feel like I'm going through these a little bit quickly, but I do want to make sure that we have time to connect and have that Q&A towards the end. If I'm going too fast, please let me know in the chat. So I will go ahead and pace myself a little bit more so that, I'm not just throwing at you all this information. You guys are also processing it. And thankfully this is recorded, so you guys can always look back through it. These are some of the tips that I have acquired and that I have learned my lesson with. Specifically, the very, very first one, it says, beware of scams. Check with the Parker Dewey team if a project doesn't look or feel right. I do want to emphasize to you guys that these are micro internships. If you see a listing that says 10,000 hours, 500 hours, it is most likely a bit of a red flag for the Parker Dewey department and for yourself as well, because these are meant to be micro internships, short. It's kind of like, let's say a company needs a graphic. Making a graphic design usually takes 10 to 15 hours. That's a micro internship. It's a mini project. That is a red flag to look for if it says like 5,000 hours, 500, 10,000. In my personal experience, I was like, oh my God, this sounds great. And then I went ahead and I applied, and it was they wanted me to join, I think, who uses Skype? It's called Skype. And they wanted me to join a Skype. And that to me was like a red flag. Like, who uses Skype when you have Zoom and Teams? Come on. Like, hello. But also I double checked with the Parker Dewey team, and I was like, hey, this doesn't feel right. Can you guys double check? And it was a scam. And I'm glad that, I took those precautions, and I hope that you guys learn from me and you don't send them your resume. I sent them a cover letter, but I blocked them and I was fine. But, make sure, follow your instincts, double check with the Parker Dewey team. They're amazing. They are super responsive, and they will make sure that you guys are safe when it comes to these postings on here as well. Just beware, they do filter them out. That was just honestly, my bad luck that I just ended up, it was at like 12 in the morning when I was looking through these. I was like, oh, this is perfect. And I was like, actually, no. And like I said, you have to apply to as many micro internships as you can. When I tell you that I was literally at 12 in the morning filling out these applications over and over and over, I was. And out of, let's say, 35 micro internships that I applied to, I probably only heard back from 5 and was contracted on for like 2 of them. I'm being honest with you guys. It's tough out here. But like I said before, you can filter and sort them by location and your strengths. If you feel more comfortable doing remote work, make sure that you only click remote. If you truly want to be hands-on, hybrid or in-person only, it really does help you, reduce the amount of noise that is in that is on the postings in Parker Dewey, and really focus on things that you want to develop. And I will actually show a story closer that we have there about something that an internship that I applied to that I didn't even know, anything about. So one of the tips that I can give you is have a Word doc. It says have pre-written answers you can personalize and copy and paste. If you've ever seen or applied to, the postings on Parker Dewey, you know that it typically has, 4 text boxes. There's some organizations that do, require more, and they're like, tell us a little bit about yourself and what are your strengths, and a lot of them go, oh, tell us about what you've done before. The reason why I was able to apply to 35, postings at once was because I had a Word doc, okay, with the basic answers or questions that Parker Dewey, asked you. And then I went into, sue me, ChatGPT. No, yes, I did. I went to ChatGPT and I said, hey, write me an answer for these. And then from that, obviously, hey, don't laugh. Um, I obviously, I made sure that don't copy and paste from ChatGPT, okay? But do make it your own. So I went in, obviously, I don't want to sound like a robot when I am, copy and pasting these answers into the postings. I want to make sure that it's about me. So I said, hey, my strengths are I'm organized, I'm timely, and I can be very creative, and I'm often on task. And ChatGPT, wrote a nice little paragraph. I put it on my Google Doc, and when people asked, on the postings, tell me a little bit about yourself, I had that at the bottom, that answer, and I was like, I'm organized, I'm efficient, I'm perfect, all of those things, and you copy and paste. Yeah, make sure that you do your own editing. It's super, super important to make sure that it is catered to yourself so that you don't sound like a robot. Okay? And obviously, make sure that your answers do not have grammar mistakes. Sometimes you are so into You are so into your own writing that, Grammarly is a great way to double check. Make sure that it's error free. Make sure, like I said, you don't sound like a robot. Do not copy and paste directly from ChatGPT. Personalize it. Make it yourself. It is a tool to help you, not a tool to replace your own thoughts in words. With that being said, apply to the um, postings and the internships that you do not feel qualified for. One of my longest clients at the moment is the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, which I am very grateful for. It was for an events position. I have never had experience creating events, organizing events. When I did apply to it, I believe I was a junior in college. I graduated now. I had nothing, I had no experience in it, but it was a micro internship. It was only a set amount of hours. And I told myself, even if I do not feel qualified for this, I feel like I can definitely learn between that set amount of hours that I was given and see where it goes. And it has been now about a year and a half, almost 2 years. And, they are my clients now, and I was able to onboard them, and I have a running contract with them, through my company. And I realized that I have a knack for events because all of my qualities and my skills that I thought, were good, um, with marketing, that I was efficient, that I was time bound, actually transferred over to this position that I had no idea about. And so what I'm telling you is it's okay to apply to postings that you do not feel qualified for. It is more than okay. Unless you're like a biology major and this is like a software engineering, and you don't know how to code, maybe if you really want to dip your toes into that and do it, go ahead. But make sure that the skills, that you have and you feel confident in, you can transfer over. And even if you don't feel qualified for it, go ahead and do it, because it's important to step outside your comfort zone, and you can be as surprised as I am in terms of, all of these skills transferred over well. The last couple of slides are, hopefully you guys will feel and empathize, and I can empathize with you. You have to make sure that you track all of your applications in Parker Dewey. Up here, you see it says opportunities, applied, selected, completed, and your messages. Check your messages. It will, in my experience, I received, I think, an email saying that I was messaged by somebody, but I would check Parker Dewey at least once a week to make sure that I heard back from the people that, I was applying to. One, make sure all of your opportunities are there, apply to as many as you can, check to see the ones that applied, the ones that you were selected for, because sometimes they will select you and you have to make sure that you are, oh, I was selected for this. You don't want to let that go because it's already so hard to get through, that applied process. These are some real life internship opportunities that are applied to. And next on, you'll see a message, that is very near and dear to my heart. I was rejected from, this micro internship that I was very exciting for because it was marketing support. I went through all the processes. I had the TheDream.Us affiliation for it. It was in our featured projects. But the thing is that you will see a lot of these messages. Oh, you will see a lot of these messages. You will get rejected. Like I said, out of the 35, maybe 30 of them rejected me. 5 of them were like, oh, let me send you a message. But it is okay to be rejection, because rejection is just redirection, and it points you into better opportunities. And, even if I was rejected at the time, I made sure that I connected with them. Why? Because, maybe they just didn't need me at that time, but there might be other opportunities. There might be other opportunities where, they do need someone. And the first person that they think about is a person that, regardless of them, rejecting them, actually kept in touch and connected. So this is something that, I will go a bit more in depth in the following ones, but do not be discouraged about being rejected from internships. It happens to all of us, and it's just, redirection, and you will out of, 45, you will land at least one. With that being said, redirection is a real thing. If I wasn't rejected from, as many internships as I was, I wouldn't have had the fuel to keep going, you know what I mean? Like, I will show you. You will want me. I promise you will want me. So after, yes, you should create a LinkedIn account. You have to. Oh my gosh. Yes. Sorry, I just read that as it was coming up. Please make a LinkedIn account. I will tell you why it's so important later. But my personal experience, I created Bretzels Media. We're a marketing company. And because of that, actually, two of the companies that you see on the screen right now, I have long-lasting relationships with. Pull Pantry is amazing. I started with the micro-internships. I think it was only 20 hours. I was doing market research for them. So I got contracted to do market research for them, go to Whole Foods, make sure that, their chips were selling and that they were in the right shelf space. And because of that, she liked my work so much and those 20 hours of my dedication that that I was like, hey, actually, I have this marketing company. I would love to continue doing market research for you. Is this something that you're interested in the state of Arizona? Because you're based off of California. And because I took the courage and the step to do that, I was able to, bring her on for, I think it was another 9 months that we were in a contract with. And, it helped with her demographic here in Arizona. Another one that's very near and dear to my heart is the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Like I said, I do events for them. Often events and marketing go into one. If you're a marketing advertising major, I think your professors will tell you sales, marketing, and events. You will end up doing one of them at one point. So I have now had a contract with them after my micro internships were done with them. I was like, hey, I know that you love me and I love you, and I would love to continue this opportunity. And after, you know, I was established, I was able to bring them on to my clients, and hopefully we will have many more years of that to go. And it's really important to stay connected. I kept in touch whether I was rejected or not after graduation. If I had a new position, I religiously repost and look at LinkedIn and make sure that everybody knows what I'm doing. At one point, if I have a new position, like I said, I ask for advice even to the people that have, rejected me. I'm like, hey, so what can I do better? What was it that maybe set you, you said maybe this isn't the right person for me. Um, and that's important because they will remember your face. And sometimes I went into these interviews knowing that I did not have an opportunity, knowing that I was going to be rejected, and I went in because it's important to have that experience of being interviewed and telling people, hey, can you tell me, some things that I could make better for, that I can improve in, after you saw me interviewed and I spent that time with you. Attend networking events. This is something that everybody's going to tell you, network, network, network. And you're like, what is networking? Where do I even start? You have to surround yourself with people in the places you aspire to reach. If I want to one day own a Porsche, I'm going to hang out around people that either have Porsches or, like taking pictures of Porsches. I will go to Cars and Coffee up in Scottsdale if you're from Arizona, and I will just be surrounded by the kind of people that, if you want to be surrounded, if you want to get somewhere, you have to be surrounded with people that are already there. And with that comes, following networking groups. How do you network? Well, the Better Business Bureau, I'm pretty sure there is one in every state that you're in. They typically have networking events. Your chambers of commerce in Arizona, Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is great. You have the Greater Phoenix Chamber of Commerce. I would do some research on that in the state that you're in and the city that you're in, see how you can get involved with them, because they are great, great places and accelerators for students and how to get networking. And SCORE. SCORE is a national organization. They are all around the country and they have chapters. And what they specialize in is that, if I'm a marketing, company, an entrepreneur, I'm just a startup and I need advice, SCORE will literally go ahead and partner you with the mentor, with the person that already has an established marketing business. And this is this. And that's how you get talking to people, and that is typically how, you get places. And that's how I got places. So real quick, I do want to make sure we have at least 15 minutes of Q&A time. So share one thing with me, please, if you may, of something that you learned today, something that you're going to take home in the future. I want to make sure that I am, provided. I can ramble on, but I want to make sure that the information that here today is of sustenance and that is something that, helps you. I'll go ahead and flip over to this side again. Hopefully we can get some answers. But while that is going on, it really, you will hear networking is important, and it really is. I did not even know what networking was. I heard it so much, but I didn't know how to do it. And it's as simple as going up to someone and being like, "Hi, my name is Briseida. What do you do?" Or "What's your name?" Or "Can I actually get your business card?" And sometimes you have to project that you are confident. I go into these things and into these networking events knowing that, um, you know, confidence is all about how you project yourself. And even though on the inside I'm like freaking out, I'm shaking, and my anxiety is all over the place, I make sure that I pretend to be as confident and as eloquent as I can. And you have to fake it till you make it sometimes. You have to fake it till you make it. And if I pretend that I am a confident person, then I will come off as a confident person. I promise. Oh, let's go ahead and look at some of your guys' answers really quickly because I do want to know what you guys learned today. Don't be afraid to ask. Exactly. I do recommend marketing portfolio. It does help if somebody asks to provide it. You at least know, hey, these are the things that I've done. These are the things that I'm good at, and they can see that. Mm-hmm. Oh, a spreadsheet for interview. Whether it's a spreadsheet or a Word doc, it is important to be able to copy and paste. Like I said, if you have issues, like I do talking about myself sometimes, maybe not issues, but I do have trouble talking about myself sometimes. I go to ChatGPT. I'm like, hey, tell me what I am good at. And then I take the things that actually really truly resonate, and then I will write it into my own words. So don't just copy and paste. It helps a lot though. Surround yourself with people, yeah, who you want to. Oh, I'm glad. You guys can surround yourself with me. I have my arms are open for you guys. I want you guys to be better than me, if anything.
Well, thank you so much, Briseida, for sharing your story about how you use Parker Dewey and your advice and all your wonderful tips. They're much appreciated. We'll now go into the Q&A section. And Briseida, if you don't mind, maybe, yes, switching back, thank you.
Yes.
So the first question is a two-parter, and I can actually answer the first part. Hello, do I need to pay taxes for my micro-internship after completion? Yes, all micro-internships on Parker Dewey, the income is considered taxable income and should be reported on your taxes come tax year. The
Thank you.
second part of that question, and actually before I get to that, I'll put in the chat, we have a Tax Matters FAQ with more frequently asked questions about taxes that I encourage everyone to check out. The second part of that question, is there a limit to how many micro internships I can apply to each year? Or if I can only do this once?
If I may, apply, I don't think I mean, if I applied to as many as I did and I didn't get like, hey, you need to stop, apply to as many as you can. Why, if there is a limit, let's find out what that limit is. Make sure that you are applying to them as many times as you can. It's not just once. Apply to them, apply to them, apply to them. Definitely.
Yes, thank you, Briseida. And yes, to elaborate more on that, there is no limit on the number of micro internships you can apply for on Parker Dewey. That is open to all micro internships. There's no limit for that. Next question is, I was wondering if to complete an internship, On Parker Dewey, you don't need a work permit, which is correct because these are structured as independent contracting gigs. The
Yep.
question is, how would it work when filling out taxes?
If I may also jump into that, I did my taxes for the first time, I think 2 years ago. And like I said, I only have an ITIN number. So what this would look like is that, once you, let's say, have a micro internship with Parker Dewey, and they are the ones that are dispersing funds at all, they will provide you a 1099 with your ITIN number or your social security number. And I know Nicole can elaborate on this a little bit more. You do have to do your taxes. Every single dollar that you make through Parker Dewey should be reported, but they will provide you a 1099 typically.
And for those of you that are interested in learning more about ITINs or taxes, do know that every spring semester, usually February, March, around tax season, we do bring in a tax expert, an ITIN expert, and she hosts several webinars to learn more about tax matters for immigrants as well as ITINs. Next question. Can you get the same internship twice, like for 2 terms? I just finished an internship through Parker Dewey, and both me and my internship site want to work together again. I'm going to first answer that question, Briseida. And Briseida, if you don't mind going back to your slides with the dashboard, I just want to be a little more clear where when you create an account on Parker Dewey, if you'll go back to that first one, yep. So when you create an account on Parker Dewey and you go to the main page of your dashboard, you're first going to see a dashboard with listings, and at the top it says featured projects, like what you see on your screen. Those featured projects are specifically for the Dream.Us scholars and are typically funded through the Dream.Us, through our internship funding program and through our partner colleges that are participating in our internship funding program. So do know that when you're looking through those, there are some that you need to be a scholar at a specific partner college. For example, the first one, Queens, you would need to be a student at Queens. But there's also some in there that organizations will post, like the Arizona Chamber of Commerce, other organizations that you can apply to as well. Briseida, if you want to scroll to the next slide. If you continue scrolling down that list, after the featured projects is the all open micro internships. These are not paid through Parker Dewey, or excuse me, these are not paid through the Dream.Us. They're open to all students, regardless of whether you're a Dream.Us scholar or not. And when Bree was talking about the micro internships she secured, I believe most of them were through these open micro internships. So do know that these are available to you as well. These are open to all students. I know Briseida mentioned that these can be a little competitive. She had to apply to 30 plus micro internships, and know that you might have to apply to a lot to get some callbacks, but also know, because these are micro internships, the application process is pretty short and simple through answering a few questions. Briseida, I don't know if you wanted to add to that. I think I might have answered it all.
No, that's exactly correct. The ones that I did, on board as clients were through the all open micro internships. And because of that, I was able to say, hey, this is over with, but here's a new option. This is what I do through my own volition. Would you like to continue working together? And it did take a while to get through those, honestly.
Next question. And Bree, sorry, I'll have you answer these. Can I apply for micro internships with no experience?
Absolutely. That's what they're for. Micro internships are, to, dabble in there. Like I said, I didn't know anything about events. I had never even thought about it or organizing events. I had no idea what you had to do, but I took a chance and I was like, I want to learn. And that's how I got some experience on my resume as well. So if you don't have any, this is a great way to build your resume and see what you like and what you don't like.
Next question, do you recommend making a marketing portfolio? I am in the same boat. I assume the student is also a marketing major.
Yes, I know I did touch a little bit on this as it came up on the chat when I was talking through the presentation, but absolutely. A marketing portfolio just makes you a stronger applicant if you can link it, if you can attach it to any of the responses on the postings, do it. If they message you and you're like, hey, if you get to that point, tell them this is what I'm really good at and this is everything that I've done. So absolutely, it just makes you stronger.
Next question is regarding resumes.
Mhm.
What internships am I able to land as a junior in college? Or what would I put in my education section of my resume? If I don't have any certifications, what would I put in the education section?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So what I did for my education portion of it, I actually put my high school experience as well, because I did a CT throughout high school. So I made sure that, that was there. I graduated 2020. And for my university, when I was in college and I was a junior, and a senior even, I put my projected graduation date in there, what I was studying, what university I was doing, and then I also made sure that if I was involved in any clubs at all, I listed those as well because it just shows that you're a little bit more well-rounded. If you do not have any clubs, if you did anything in high school, anything that you're working on, and then for certifications, you don't have any, go on Google. Google certifications are just as good as the ones that maybe you would get at a university. Because sometimes I know through my courses, I had to do Google courses to get certified. So in your area of, of what you're studying, if that is available to you, that also really helps. Hopefully
Thanks.
that answered your question.
Thanks, Priscilla, for answering that question. I will also mention too, if you have any more resume questions, I encourage you to reach out to your campus's career center who can help you craft and update or review your resume. I do know that Parker Dewey also partners with hundreds of colleges and universities across the country. And usually the Career Center is the one that oversees that partnership. So you can also go to your Career Center too to ask them, is my university partnering with Parker Dewey? And ask any questions you have in relation to Parker Dewey as well. So next question. I saw this question more so in the chat, but Briseda, can you talk more about LinkedIn? I know you have one. Should our scholars be creating one? Why can LinkedIn be beneficial?
Let me go ahead and scroll over to my LinkedIn and how you guys can reach me. I'm going to go ahead and showcase two ways that I stay connected with people. One is through LinkedIn. It is absolutely, you need to have it. Even if you're a student, make sure that you have, your university on there, you have a profile. If you have a resume, make sure it's on there because that way, let's say since I went to GCU, I searched for all the kids that were alumni or all the people that were from GCU and I connected with them. I said, hey, I'm a student at GCU. Please think of me if you see any marketing, or it's really nice to connect with you because connections are going to get you places. And when people have a face and a name to you, it's easier to, have people think of you. And you will be surprised. You'll be like, nah, that is never gonna happen. It does. There's been times where LinkedIn has been, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm connected with you through LinkedIn. And then I see them in person and that just starts a conversation. And they're like, hey, I might have somebody that, might need some product pictures taken. And I'm like, okay, beautiful. And then that is how, you get connected, you get going. So LinkedIn is an absolute must. Please do. And if you don't have any connections, add me. I will be your first connection. Please. Another way I also stay connected is that I have, my Instagram profile. It's my professional Instagram profile. Sometimes people don't are not on LinkedIn as much as I am. And so staying connected with them through, social media has been extremely strategic, and it has really helped me, be like, oh, this person is eating at Provisions or at this coffee. I'll just heart it. And I'll be like, oh, that looks so good. Invite me next time. And then that is how I get, those connections and build stronger relationships with people, truly. So please stay connected, create a LinkedIn,
Yes.
be your first one.
LinkedIn, thank you, Briseida, for sharing. LinkedIn is a very powerful tool, a great way to connect, not just with scholars, but other students at your campus, faculty, professors. I myself have connected with a ton of scholars and alumni, as well as undocumented entrepreneurs, not affiliated with the Dream.Us. And by connecting with them, I'm learning about inclusive opportunities for our scholars, great resources that relate to career exploration and development. So yes, LinkedIn can be a very great, powerful tool. I do see that there's another question in the chat about if they have an internship that has about 380 hours, how many of those hours can be funded by the Dream.Us? I would need some more information about that, because to me, this sounds like this might be an opportunity for an internship funding program, which is specifically through partner colleges that have signed up to provide inclusive internships. So for that individual, if you want, I would encourage you to email me and I will put that in the chat. I also wanted to mention, oops, for those of you, if you are unfamiliar with the Dream.Us internship funding program, and if your college participates in the internship funding program, I'll put in our program directory where you can see a listing of our current partner colleges that are participating in the internship funding program. There's also a tab for our fellowship program as well, that you can check that out. And you can find that that database on our inclusive internship and fellowship website. It's at the bottom of the page. All right, well, I think that's all the questions. Thank you, Briseida, so much for your time and advice and expertise. I've even learned from some of the great tips that you shared out, and I'm sure our attendees and scholars have learned as well. So thank you. As a reminder, if you wanted to refer back to this recording or Briseida's slide deck, we will be posting both of these to our YouTube channel within a week's time. You can also find all the other recordings from the Summer Career Series on our YouTube channel. Thank you everyone for your attendance, and enjoy the rest of the week.
Thank you so much for having me, and for everybody that listened to a little bit of my rambling as well. Please stay connected. If I can help with anything, if I can help connect you with anybody, I'm here for you guys. Thankfully. Awesome.